Good morning, Centerville students, or good afternoon, depending on which class I'm talking to at this time. As you are currently sitting in your class, I have made it all the way to North Carolina. And if this is later in the day, then I might actually be out on a boat or on a beach someplace in the Atlantic Ocean, spending time with my best friend. I am going to walk you guys through, or guide you through, some of the work that I did from last year as you guys learn to measure. Your goal right now is to learn to measure. Your goal is less about making sure you turn in all the stuff you're supposed to turn in and more about making sure that by Monday morning you know how to measure and that you're going to be able to do well on Monday of next week in your measuring test, which I'll be giving you at that time. So your goal is less about just following along and doing what I say, and more about trying to learn from the experiences that I provide you. Okay, so we're going to be using Edpuzzles over the next 3 days, but since I can't give you guys access to a computer, I can't have all of my classes using computers, I'm going to play the Edpuzzle for you, and then you are going to write the answers down on a piece of paper, okay? Now, if you're not familiar with what an Edpuzzle is, they are videos that teachers can put up a video, and then during those videos they can pause and ask a question. You have to answer those questions. I like Edpuzzles a lot. I would like to try to incorporate them into my classes, but I don't know how successful that's going to be considering the difficulties with technology and such, and not all of my classes are going to be around computers all the time. So I'm not sure how well the Edpuzzle thing is going to work for my classes. But they worked pretty well last year. So I'm going to use the Edpuzzles that I used last year to teach measuring, and I'm going to hopefully teach you how to measure. So starting out, let's go ahead and have Mr. Cjhsolson pass out the papers that say day one. He's probably already passed these out, but everybody should have the day one sheet to fill in. I believe there might only be like 7 questions. I'm not sure how many questions are. I think it's like 7 questions. It's either 7 or 17, but I think it's 7 questions you'll be answering throughout this video. The video is not really very long, but they always take a little longer than what the videos say because of the questions that are in place. So today we're going to start out by doing the Edpuzzle, and then I have another activity for you to do after that. All right, hope you guys are having a really great Wednesday. And looking forward to leaving a little early today because it's a minimum day. You guys are out about an hour early today. All right, so let's take a look at that Edpuzzle. So here's me a year ago. This is last September that I made these videos. Just before school started, I was preparing for teaching, online teaching for the whole year, and I made these videos. And here we go. So everybody pay attention to the videos and get ready to answer the questions. You're not going to... The reality is that you guys are going to be able to share those answers, and I'm even going to tell you the answers. But that shouldn't change the fact that I want you to pay attention, listen, watch the videos, try to understand what it is I'm teaching. Because if you just kind of look at this as, hey, look, he's going to give me the answers so I don't have to think, then you're also not going to learn anything, which means on Monday you're not going to know how to measure, and then that's going to be a problem. Okay? All right, so here goes. Okay, so welcome to the Centerville Junior High School woodshop. It's a bit kind of deconstructed at the moment, kind of pulled apart. By the time students are back into this room, actually taking classes in this room, this entire room is going to be shredded down to the studs and then rebuilt into a whole brand new room. So it's not a lot of point to me showing you around this room. Don't know if that's 100% for sure, but we're going to see. I mean, it wasn't, because as you know, the building hasn't been done at this point and students are back in the building. But I think we've talked about the fact that this is going to happen by next year. Or at least that's what it's supposed to. It's supposed to be done by next year. They're going to rebuild the building. Question as to whether or not when that's going to happen. Every semester for many, many years, I've given the same demonstration or same discussion because we always start out wood shop and design and modeling with learning how to measure. And that's what you guys are going to be doing this week. This is usually a very embarrassing conversation for a student in class as I pick a student in class to discuss, but for the purposes of today, I've only got one student in the classroom and I'm not going to choose him because there aren't all the other students that I need. So here we go. Measuring with a standard American ruler, customary units is what it's called, involves working with inches. And we're going to be talking about working with inches in this class. We're not going to discuss millimeters. In design and modeling, we might discuss millimeters later on in the semester, but for right now, we're talking about measuring using a standard ruler, which involves inches. That's what we have here in the wood shop, these rulers. This side breaks the inches down to eighths of an inch. This side breaks down to the 16ths of an inch. There are no millimeters on this ruler. Okay? We do have rulers around that do have millimeters on them as well, but in general, in this class, in my classes, we work in inches. And the work that we're going to be doing for design and modeling, the work we're going to be doing later, will definitely be, I will be discussing in inches. And in the art classes, we will be doing some measuring as well, and those will be actually just breaking down to half inches. I don't think we're going to do any smaller than that. However, it is definitely something for you to learn, working with rulers. Okay, so. All right, so here's our first question. So if this were an actual ed puzzle, you would be watching this on your own computer, and you would have to answer this question in order to move on. So let's see, which measuring system will we be learning this week? Are we going to be learning metric system, or are we going to learn customary units? So I find this interesting because I assumed they were going to be A and B. So you are going to write the correct answer, which happens to be B, customary units. I'm surprised that it doesn't list alphabetically, because I'm sure that when I created this video, it had A, B, C, D, and E, and so forth. But at this point, you're just supposed to check it off. So the answer to this question is B, customary units, which is inches, fractions of inches, etc. Okay. What I want to point out is that an inch is like many things in the world, in that it can be cut up into pieces. So we're going to start with something else that gets cut up into pieces, and it's what a lot of you would say is your favorite food in the world. And if you could only eat one thing for the rest of your life, it'd probably be a pretty good choice because it's got a lot of variety in it, which is pizza. So in my little story that I tell every semester, a student receives a pizza. But it's too big for him to eat because it's way too much pizza. He goes to a round table and the guy gives him, instead of the small pizza, it's a ridiculously huge pizza. So he invites a friend to join him, and they go after school to the round table, and they sit down to get their pizza, which they think is a medium pizza, but they end up getting the humongo pizza. And they sit down, and they divide the pizza in half. That's a very understandable statement for most of you guys. We're going to share the pizza. We're going to eat it in half. We're going to cut it in half. Half is quite commonly written like this. And half could be stated as one, where there are two pieces. There are two pieces, and this is one of them. So one of the two pieces is 1/2 of the pizza. Okay? However, they still have too much pizza here. For two people, this is way too much pizza. So these two people look out the window, and they notice two people coming down the street, and they say, hey, you know what? We could use a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So they wave at the people coming down the street and say, hey, why don't you come and join us? And in walk two more students, and they each sit down next to one of the first students. Each of them cuts their pizza in half, and thus now each of them is sharing half of their pizza with somebody else. But that leaves us with 4 slices of pizza. 2, 3, 4 pieces of pizza. And each of the students is eating only one of those slices. So each student is eating one of the 4 slices, which means that each student is eating 1/4 of the pizza. Okay? If you're having difficulty, just pause for a second, take a breath, take a drink of your soda or whatever you've got in your hand, and then unpause. I'll wait. That was kind of fun. So, if 4 kids are eating a pizza together and are sharing equally, how much of the pizza will each student get? 1/2 represents letter A, 1/3 equals letter B, 1/8 is letter C, or the correct answer, which is D, which is 1/4. Each student would be eating 1/4 of the pizza if there are 4 people eating a pizza. So your answer is D, as in dog, is the answer you're going to put on your paper today. Okay, so now each student is eating one of the 4 slices of pizza, okay? But the original 2 people that sat down with each other are eating 2 of those slices. So the original pair of kids and the pair of kids walking down the street, each of them is eating 2 of the 4 slices. So 2 of the 4 slices is equal to 1 half of the pizza. Okay? There are 2 halves. Each couple is eating a half of the pizza. Now, this is where I point out that if you're getting confused, you need to not just kind of zone out and start thinking about whatever it is you're thinking about, whatever the YouTube video you were watching before you started watching this was. And you need to just focus. You need to trust me. There are people out there who think, math, I hate math, I can't do this. Just give me a chance, okay? I'm gonna show you how to measure in lots of different ways. This is only the first time. If you're confused, give it a little time, okay? Just keep focusing. Watch the video a couple times if you need to. I'm gonna provide you with lots of material this week. Just trust me and pay attention. The worst thing you wanna do is just have the video on while you're not watching it and then complain later that you watched the video but you didn't understand it. Okay, so just give it a little bit of chance. Oh gee, which answer should I choose? Are you still paying attention? Choose A if you're paying attention to me. B if you're not paying attention to me. Okay, now, the original 2 people and the people walking down the street. It turns out that these people walking down the street already had boyfriends/girlfriends. Okay? And they're walking down the street also. But they're also walking along with 2 other kids. So 4 more kids show up. Each of the people walking down the street sits down next to their boyfriend/girlfriend, and they share their pizza with them. The 2 boys who were originally eating the pizza have to share their pizza with the other 2 boys that were walking down the street, or the other 2 kids that were walking down the street. And now there are how many kids? There are now 8. 8 different kids eating pizza. Each of them is eating only 1 slice of the pizza. So each kid is eating 1 of the 8 slices of pizza. So 1/8 of the pizza is what each kid is eating. Okay? And we can have that same conversation we were having. There are 4 pairs of kids at this point. There's the kid who's walking down the street and their boyfriend or girlfriend. There's the other kid walking down the street and their boyfriend or girlfriend. There's the original 2 boys, and there's the 2 other random kids that were walking down the street. So there are 4 different pairs of kids. So the original boys are eating that, the couple, and the random kids are walking down the street. There are 4 different pairs of slices, and each pair is eating 1 of those 4 slices, or 4 pairs. There's 4 different couples, each couple is eating a 4th. I know this is probably where I'm losing some people, so like I said, just kind of pay attention and we'll keep going. All right, so if there are in fact 8 slices of pizza and one group eats 4 slices, how much of the pizza did that group eat? Okay, so the group, let's talk about the 2 couples. Okay, there's the 2 people that were invited in. The 2 people that were invited in by the first couple of kids that were in the room. And they came in and said, oh, look, pizza, that's great. And then they brought their boyfriends and girlfriends in. So we've got 4 people. We've got the two people and their boyfriends or girlfriends. And those 4 people are eating 4 of the 8 slices of pizza. Now I really feel like I'm losing you. 4 of the 8 slices of pizza is half of the pizza. I'm not sure why I phrased this way, but because I hadn't really covered this answer. But it is in fact half of the pizza. 4 slices is the right-hand side. The other 4 slices is the left-hand side. It's half of the pizza. So if we say that 1/4 is A, 1/3 is B, 1/2 is C, 1/8 is D, the answer to this question is C. I will repeat what I'm saying in the video here. Please don't just give up on this whole thing. Okay, we're going to go over this in a lot of different ways. I know that people learn in different ways. So I want you to just give me a chance, pay attention, just keep focusing, keep listening, and I promise I'm going to take whatever time I need to make sure that I help you with this. If you haven't learned this by Monday, I'm going to still be teaching you this because I require that everybody learns to measure, which means if you fail on your test on Monday, then I'm going to have you in during flex time. I'm going to have you in after school. I'm going to have you in at lunch. I'm going to figure out times to bring you in to teach you this. So I'd rather you just learned it now. All right, let's move on. Just do the best you can. And sooner or later, one of the different methods one of the videos that you'll watch this week will make sense and it will click. It'll be like riding a bike. If you get on a bike and you try and you ride it down the street and you fail, and then you just walk the bike home, and it takes you an hour and a half to walk the bike home, and you tell your parents, hey, I spent 2 hours trying to learn how to ride a bike, and I didn't learn it. You actually only spent 20 minutes trying to ride that bike, and then you walked home for an hour and a half. So no, you didn't actually spend, just trust me. Just focus, pay attention, and we'll get there. All right, so then at this point, I usually say the basketball team or the volleyball team shows up, and 8 more kids show up, and everybody sits down. Everybody shares their pizza with somebody. And the one kid shared with the other kid to become 2 kids. They invited 2 more people, which made it 4 kids. And then 4 more kids showed up, making it 8 kids. And now the volleyball team showed up, and now it's 16 different kids. And each kid is eating 1 of the slices of pizza, or 1/16 of the pizza. The volleyball team is eating these 8 slices. I got that right? Nope. Those 8 slices. So the volleyball team is eating half of the pizza, or 1/8, this half, and the rest of the kids are eating that half. I'm definitely losing some of you at this point. So we're going to tell the story again a little quicker, but this time we're going to draw it a little differently. So, as we discussed, the volleyball team is eating 8 of the slices. There are 16 slices, which means the volleyball team is eating half of the pizza. So the answer for that one is B as in boy, because A was 1/16, B is 1/2, C is 1/8, and D was 23:30 seconds, which I clearly threw in there to make it obvious that that's not the answer. So the answer is B as in boy, 1/2 of the pizza. So once again, pause, take a drink of that water or soda or whatever you've got. Give it a second, and then come back. All right, so now, same thing, except this time, that's the pizza. Actually, that's the ruler that we're discussing, which has been broken. And when I draw a line here and a line here, that represents the entire pizza that the boy won in the contest, which he shared with a friend, so we cut it in half. But when we cut it in half, the piece becomes smaller and the line gets shorter. Because this is the way the ruler works. There is somebody out there in the world who designed a ruler and designed the inch measurements. And when they put together the ruler, they made it easy for you to look at and understand. So there's a pattern that you need to understand and look at here. So the original kid had the entire pizza and shared with a friend, and so it got cut in half. The 2 other kids walked down the street, and each one cut their pizza in half and shared it with another kid. And now there are 4 slices. 1, 2, 3, 4 slices. And I want you to notice that the new lines I drew are shorter than that line. And this line is shorter than this. As we cut this pizza into smaller and smaller and smaller pieces, the lines are going to get shorter and shorter and shorter. So now we have 4 kids, each one. As the lines are dividing the inch into smaller pieces, the lines are getting longer, wider, skinnier, or shorter. So the answer would be A, B, C. D is the correct answer for shorter. The lines get shorter as the pieces get smaller. So the answer to this one is D as in dog. Each one of them is eating a fourth. This is a fourth. That's a fourth, a fourth, a fourth. This is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 1, 2, 3/4, and 4/4 is the entire pizza. Okay? Then the other 4 boys showed up, and everybody cut their slices in half, and the lines are still getting shorter. And now there are how many slices? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slices of pizza. And this is one of those 8s. 2 8s is being eaten by the original pair of kids. 4 8s, which is half of the pizza, is being eaten by the original 2 kids and the people that they were wooing with their pizza. Okay? 1/4, 1/8, or 1/2, too. And then the volleyball team showed up, and all the pizza slices were cut into small little slices so that everybody could share their pizzas. And we ended up with 16 little slices of pizza. Okay? This is 1/16 of the pizza, is this little line, this area right here. 2/16, which was eaten by the original 2 boys, is an 1/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1/8 of the pizza. The volleyball team is eating these 8 slices, which is half of the pizza. Okay, now that's the end of this discussion. However, I need you to not get frustrated. If you're having difficulty with this, just trust me that I'm going to keep showing you other ways of learning this and understanding this. Just watch this thing. If you need to, watch it a couple times and just kind of let that information sit there. There's going to be more videos and more discussions and more opportunities to understand this. The worst thing you can do is for you to just say, I don't get this, and then stop. Okay, just keep focusing, keep listening, and we're going to get this. All right? There you go. Should you give up if this is difficult? That's a tough question. A for no, B for yes. I think the answer for that one would be A. You should not give up if this is difficult. So please write A for your final question there, and then we'll skip. And that's going to be the end of the video. All right, so I'm going to repeat myself. I'm going to teach you this in different ways. And at the end of the week, I'm going to give you some advice for the weekend in terms of how you can make sure that you've really learned this. Another way that I think is a really nice way to learn lots of different things, and I did this a lot in college, was to make flashcards. Now, it happens to be you don't have to make the flashcards because I've already done it for you. So Mr. Cjhsolson is going to pass out flashcards for you, as well as scissors. And by the way, if it's not Mr. Cjhsolson, apologize. That's the substitute I'm expecting to have this week. If it happens to be somebody else, didn't mean to be saying the wrong name of the teacher. But if it is in fact Mr. Cjhsolson, he's going to be passing out the flashcards for you. They are printed on a single sheet of paper. You're also going to need to use scissors, so I'll have scissors out there waiting for you as well for you to cut them out. They're going to have a visual of the measurement on one side and the answer on the other. I would like you to spend the remainder of this class period getting them cut out, putting a paper clip on them so you have them connected and held together really well. And then I want you to spend any remainder of the period with the other 4 kids at the table, practicing using these flashcards, testing each other, trying them out on each other, and seeing if you can build any skills at measuring by using these flashcards. All right? All right, so that's the end of my lesson for the day. I hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday. I will see you again next Monday, but you will see me via video tomorrow. All right? All right. Bye, guys. Have a good day.